Well, after being broke down in Draper, South Dakota for about 3 days, we're finally making it to our destination we're trying to get to, which is the wall right outside of the Badlands. And we haven't been here since 2020, I want to say. This is one of the most iconic boondocking spots that kind of gets around the RV world. It's very easy to get to. It's very close to amenities like Wall, South Dakota, the town, as well as the Badlands National Park for things to do. I remember there being a lot of dirt, wind, heat, bugs, flies were everywhere, and we even caught a few mouse, if I remember. And so you see all these beautiful pictures of the Badlands and this boondocking spot, but this might be the very last time we ever go here. So if you didn't see our last episode on what all happened when we broke down, you can catch up more on that. But we're basically 75% back, fixed up, ready to roll down the road. We have 98 miles to the wall, only about an hour and a half, so it's a pretty short travel day today.
I still can't believe how lucky we got in so many circumstances.
Yeah, Ray's Welding and Machine in Draper, South Dakota let us stay in our RV, you know, for 2 days while we were waiting for parts, and they literally fixed us up in about 2 hours.
They were the best. Ray and Tanner really took good care of us. And just being able to stay in the RV made it so much easier. You know, could you imagine dealing with a breakdown like that and then having to get a hotel, pack a bag? What a disaster. Nobody wants to do that.
Get your fifth wheel towed.
Oh my gosh. We saved thousands of dollars by not having to get a tow and not having to get a hotel.
But as we're driving down Highway 90 here, usually it's the wall billboards that stick out that you see. I don't know, perhaps 50 plus, maybe there's 100 wall billboards, because you start seeing those like 200 miles before you even get to the wall. But what we're seeing now is a bunch of these fire truck brewery billboards. There's actually one right there as we speak. And it literally, you know, has these real fire trucks, some vintage, talking about a brewery in Rapid City, South Dakota. So I don't know if we're ever going to make it to there. We might, but I do want to know if anybody's been there before and if it's really that cool of a spot, because they're obviously putting a lot of money and effort into this billboard situation that they got going on.
And then they have some billboards too that don't have the fire truck, with some pretty witty slogans like husband babysitter. It's kind of funny. It's very amusing for when you're going down I-90 and there's not a whole lot to look at except for these billboards.
Yes Way Badlands travel stop. This is the very last TSD friendly cart station before you hit the wall. Interesting little fuel stop here. I think 4 out of the 6 diesel pumps were out of service, and I don't know. I'm not sure. This is just an unusual little gas station truck stop.
Wasn't it weird on the inside? It was like by the restrooms there was stairs to go upstairs, and it looked like old hotel decor.
There was a casino in there.
There was a casino in there.
Through like some saloon swinging doors. So I don't know. It was interesting.
I just
went into the bathroom and left right away. But the tire looks okay. I can put my hand up to the rim. I can feel some heat onto the hub area. Nothing too hot to the touch.
Nothing scalding.
No, I'm gonna dig out my temp gun when we actually park. So we have roughly 43 miles to go to the Wall Badlands boondocking spot. And we're not quite sure if we are going to stop at a campground in Wall and dump and refill the water, or if we're just gonna go boondocking. We're in that middle spot where we've been dry camping we're on day 5 right now. And usually, you know, we're pretty good for about 10 days, so we're about halfway through.
So the question is, how long are we gonna wanna stay at the Wall?
Yes, and we may even need to stay for like 2 weeks, 'cause we're contemplating getting the rest of the service work done for the RV in Rapid City, where we can go to a MORRIDE kind of a partnered service center, somebody that's more familiar with working on the independent suspension, and have them kind of just do a full checkout, make sure everything looks good, align it, bleed the brakes. That's something the last shop couldn't do 100%. And we'll just kind of, I think, hang out in the Wall area. Maybe we're headed to Custer State Park area. There's some good boondocking around there as well. I was mentioning earlier the last time we were in the Wall boondocking, and there's actually, like, in your mind, you're thinking of the beautiful sunsets, the animals, the Badlands, but in reality, it was a lot of cow poop.
Yes.
A lot of flies.
Yes.
A lot of 100+ degree days.
Yeah.
A lot of violent storms, a lot of wind.
The humidity was intense.
There was snakes up there when we were running. Remember those little blue snakes that were up there? And the mice. That's where we caught like 3 or 4 mice.
Aaron, you're not doing a good job about getting me excited about landing there.
Well, I didn't want to like bring this up right away, but this might be the last time we go to the Wall, South Dakota.
It is the wild, wild west up there, isn't it?
So the Sleepy Hollow is basically on the back side of town here, which is actually where the RV parking is, and the back side of Wall Drug. So this is where you'd want to head into, and I'm starting to get flashbacks when we were in here in the van about 4 years ago.
God, it's been so long.
Here's the campground of Sleepy Hollow. Not a bad little campground. Doesn't look like they have any full hookups. I believe they just have water, electric, and the sewer station up there. But it's pretty.
Oh, he's just finishing.
It's big. Yeah, Robert, we met, a fan, a fellow outdoors RV owner. He said he just got done watching us in Martha's Vineyard, 2,000 miles away.
Robert just got off the Wall, which is where we're going. And he said it was too windy, and he was there with like 30 miles per hour wind, and it's projected to get 55 miles per hour, which is not fun in an RV. We are really glad that we have our true toppers, because having the traditional slide toppers in the wind is horrible. So at least we know that going in, you know, it's going to be a little bit less noisy than what it could be for us. He's big, I'm big.
Yeah.
There's poles on the sides of the road, like you can't really drive into that protected grass.
Yeah, maybe you should pull up a little bit to the right, and like you're gonna loop in, because he's turning this way most likely.
We don't know for sure.
Most likely. Yep, he's turning this way.
Nice blinker.
Yeah. Not as courteous as you were.
I got a wave at least. I hate it when people don't use their blinker.
Yeah.
It's really a big pet peeve of mine. Add it to the list.
All right, here we go. So as you come to the top of the hill, there's a little bit further you can go to the right. I see a few RVs down there, but since we want to get a view on our patio side, we're going to take a left and hopefully find a good spot just to pull right up on and have that beautiful, picturesque wall view.
Our windows are going to be really nice in this, aren't they?
Yes. Thinking about just nabbing one of these spots here, and then we'll get the bike out, see if there's anything better. Because these are beautiful, but not super private, that's for sure. So easy to scout with your e-bikes. Lots of spots, but they're not that level. Probably one of the better views this way, looking kind of back at that side of the wall, but they're all pretty similar. I think we'll just stay in the spot we got. I mean, they're all pretty nice, and I don't see any reason to drive all the way down to this side for anything different. So there's really not much else better, and I think we should just position here for a nice view out our back and side window.
Perfect.
And enjoy our stay.
That's what I like to hear.
It's always nerve-wracking in these unlevel spots, you know, and hooking. So for leveling out here, we're using these ramps right here, which are just lifesavers. So when you're about 3 degrees off, these get you within 1 degree usually. And then I'm also using some of these blocks on the front legs. And I do that by looking at the manual level mode, and it shows where we are. So we're sitting nose down 1.7, which is why I put these yellow blocks there. And then the left side needs to go up, meaning we're about 1 degree too high on the passenger side. Come on in. Let's see how we did with the view. Come on, guys. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Good job. Was it worth it?
Oh my God.
Look at that.
Oh my God.
That is not a movie playing out on our windows. That is the Badlands. Isn't that stellar? We're going to see a little bit of our friendly neighbors once they pull up, but who knows? Maybe it won't be that busy. That is a view. That's a 180 view.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work to get a bigger RV set up. Actually, any RV that you need to level. You know, these spots are not level. They're quite a bit off. So if you don't have the right leveling tools, which we didn't for many years.
Yeah.
We drove around in the van for 2 years without level blocks.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. And now we still have them. I use them all the time. And the biggest things are the ramp levelers. Those get you really close, and then you can dial it in. Of course, we have the 6-point hydraulic leveling, but you have to be very, almost, you know, within a degree or a degree and a half max. Otherwise, it won't auto level. So you have to level before the auto level most of the time. The power situation Let's just say it's good. I think we woke up this morning with around 80%. I ran the fireplace this morning just because it was 41 degrees. It was freezing outside.
Oh my gosh.
But
so
you can see we're peaking 1400 watts, which is probably as much as we'll get with the angle of the sun right now. And we're going to be fully charged in a second. So before that even happens, I'm going to turn on the electric water heater just to get that piping hot. So we got nice hot water heater. You can see the AC loads right there. Jump up, that's the water heater. And if you look at the battery, only 200 watts are coming out of it now. The wind it's there. It's 30 mile per hour gusts. I think it's supposed to get up to 50. That's gonna be, I mean, we might have a sleepless night tomorrow night, but it's pretty stable in here so far.
Yeah, it's usually the noise that is the problem.
Yeah, I got us as level as possible.
Yeah.
I deployed our stabilizer in the rear.
I'm just gonna look out these windows the whole time.
That's pretty amazing.
It's really unbelievable. You can see so far out there.
Yep.
I'm excited to see the sunrise and the sunset patterns.
So this has been called the Wall. The boondocking at the Wall is kind of what it's been dubbed, but it used to be called Nomad View. Mm-hmm. And I noticed on GPS, on Google, the road in was called Nomad View.
Yep, that's the name of the road we turned in on.
And this is why it's called Nomad View, because of that amazing view. And if you look way out there, speckled, you'll see the little RVs. And pretty much everybody here has a phenomenal view. This is a really, really fun spot to sit for about a week. You might get bored after that, but we're gonna try for 2 weeks.
Why not? You know, that's what we do. We just roam around. We're in a holding situation anyway, waiting for some parts to come in, so we can't really travel and leave the area too far.
One thing I actually learned by watching a video the other day is that Badlands National Park is a open hiking park. And I've never really heard of that, especially in national parks. And basically all that means is that you're allowed to hike anywhere off trail, which is uncommon because in most national parks they want to protect the beauty in the land, and they don't want all these crazy tourists, you know, walking all over the place. But here, it's the Badlands. Like you can't really hurt it too much, you know. It's just a desolate, beautiful wasteland, and you're allowed to roam wherever you want. Pretty cool.
Grocery shopping in Wall, South Dakota. My first trip for this little stay here. I got all set up. I got what I needed. Now, if you're picky on your groceries, yeah, of course it's going to be a struggle to grocery shop anywhere. But overall, I think this little grocery store I went to was pretty good. What's it called? The Corner Store?
I think it's the only...
It's the only grocery store in Wall.
And it's one of 3, I think, within like 50 miles from here.
Yeah, so here's what they do well. Like basic groceries, they do well. And they had a big variety of meat, which meat is the only thing I don't need because I have an entire freezer full of meat, which I love to have in our freezer. What I really needed was produce items, and they had some decent produce. It was not overwhelming. The only thing that was kind of lackluster was like their bagged greens, like salad stuff. They had a lot of bagged salads, but I like to get those big tubs because we go through a lot. I'm not disappointed at all. It was a good trip. If you were to compare this to like the Roadrunner in Quartzsite, this is better. So maybe that can help some of you gauge what the selection is. Overall, it was a success, and I'm smiling.
Just a spectacular view out these windows. This is just phenomenal. The clouds just rolled in, so it got super hazy, and it's just so unique. The Badlands are some of those structures that, like, in the middle of the day, they're really not that pretty. They're kind of washed out, and then they change as the sun kind of rises and sets. So the true toppers did their job last night in the wind, and they really didn't make any noise at all, even though it was blowing out. But the thing that gets us is the laundry flap. And I thought about trying to wedge something in there yesterday, but I just couldn't really think of it until the middle of the night. I thought of like these little sticky felt pads that go on the bottom of like furniture. I could have put those in there just to like soften the flap. So it was a rough sleep. It was like every hour I felt like I was getting jolted out of my dead sleep. It's really dry, so your nose starts to like clog up, and it's the wind is just kicking up all those dusts and allergens. So today is Saturday. Chris and I are just gonna hang out, get some work done, and take the dogs for a big walk. This is day number 4 at our beautiful campsite here, just outside of Badlands. The wind has died down. It's fairly calm, and man, have the sunrises been beautiful. And most people don't realize that trash is one of the harder things to deal with while boondocking. So in just 3 short days, we have an entire bag of trash and 1 bag of recycling, as well as a second smaller bag of recycling. So the recycling isn't gonna attract any animals or cause any issues with smell. Rodents you have to watch out for. So the recycling will just leave in the back of the truck loose. But the trash, that's a whole nother story. So this we'll put in another trash bag. So this is like a 13-gallon regular kitchen bag, and we'll put our smaller 4-gallon inside of it. We can maybe fit, I don't know, 3 of those in there. And then we use our dry bag. And we've talked about this dry bag dozens of times. This yellow one, some of you might recognize back from the van days, and we've had this for going on 5 years. I just noticed there's a hole in it. So I'm kind of using it as, I guess, an additional liner. But once there's the hole in it, it's no longer airtight. And if it's not airtight, then it's not doing its job, which is keeping the smell away from all of the wildlife that's out here while you're boondocking. But these are cheap, they're efficient, they store very small when you're not using them, and it's one of the best things you can ever do while boondocking. Second thing I just dug out of storage, more mice traps. These are the glue traps. I don't particularly like these that much, but we picked them up the last time we got mice traps, just to have a couple of varieties. We usually like the peanut butter and bait traps, but I like to leave these out all the time, like in the kind of the pass-through area. That way you don't have to worry about driving down the road and the traps getting set off. It just is always there. Louie, why are you pulling on my shorts? These are mice traps, not treats. Mice traps. So halfway through the 2-week stay here boondocking, little update. Our freshwater is doing phenomenal. We're still at 2/3 tank. We're probably not using enough fresh water. We've only showered a few times each, and we probably could up that a little bit. It's been nice and cool for the most part, besides today, and my other sensors don't really work that well. You know, our black tank always shows full, so that's kind of what it is. But our gray tanks, those are fairly low too, so I think we're gonna make it the 2 weeks here, and I really hope we do, because this is turning out to be a phenomenal stay. Between the nice weather, the lack of bugs, the abundant sunshine, no rain, it's just been amazing.
Don't forget forget the best part, Erin. We're out of the RV parks, which we've been craving for so long. I think that's why we're so content just sitting here and not leaving for a full week. Like, we're just soaking it up. This is exactly what we wanted to be, just secluded by ourselves in the middle of a beautiful location.
This is the type of campsite that, you know, should be like $100 per night. It's amazing. If this had amenities, it'd be like $200.
It's a premium view.
It's amazing. Like, you can barely go anywhere in an RV and look at a view like this.
Have we talked about the wildlife we've seen? So we've seen longhorned sheep. Erin calls them rams. I don't know enough to know about if are rams the male version.
Yeah, I think it's like a similar terminology as like calling a male cow a bull.
Okay, so we have some rams. All we do is look out our beautiful panorama windows and they're right before our eyes. We've also seen buffalo on our walk, not like right here on the site, but when we walk about a mile up the trail, there are buffalo out in the distance that we can see. And we've also heard a ton of coyotes doing their coyote howling group chatter that they do at night. If you've never heard that, the first time you hear that coyote, it's magical. So that's always a cool thing to hear. Like laying in bed at night, you hear the coyotes just going wild. Did I miss? Oh, we saw a snake.
We saw a pretty good sized racer snake. And luckily we have not seen any mice.
Except for one dead mouse on the side of the road.
It's true.
Ever wonder where the name Irene Iron Travels comes from? It's actually named after my online fitness and nutrition coaching business, Irene Iron Fitness. I help people move better, feel better, and eat better with strength training and real food. No fad diets, no harsh restrictions, no counting calories, and absolutely no processed food in a package. If you want to get stronger and feel better at any age, check the description below for the links with my new client special, or join in on our next and upcoming group challenge.